This video is a compilation of the answers to the questions that I had about background music and sound effects when learning about making and uploading a video for YouTube. I hope this can be helpful to anyone interested in these issues or anyone just curious about these issues. I use the Descript app as my video editor. Links to the graphics, music, and animation services and apps I use are in the description. So I'm going to open my Descript app, and this is the video that I want to add a background music to. The background music that I want to add is this one, which is 33 seconds long. And if I look at my video, then it is almost 30 minutes long. How do I make this 33-second long music file play for the 30 minutes of my video? I'm just going to close this and I'm going to open my System Explorer, and this is where the music is. Now the first thing I'm going to do is bring this music inside my Descript app. There are a few ways of doing this. The best way to add background music, in my opinion, is that we first open up the file portion of the Descript app, and then we click and drag the audio file that we want into this file. We can see this white line, when this means that if we let go now, the file will be added to the files section of our Descript app. And the file has been added. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the cursor to the beginning of my video. This is a gap clip, and here is where the narration starts. I have added this gap clip at the beginning of my video so that my video will start gradually and provide a pleasant experience while viewing. And it is also my preference to start the music from the point where the narration or video starts. We can also start the background music from the very beginning of the video. That means at the start of the gap clip. That would also be perfectly fine. The process for that is exactly the same as what I am doing now, except that here the playhead is at the beginning of the narration, and if we want to add the music from the start of the gap clip, then our playhead will have to be at the start of the gap. I'm moving the playhead back to the beginning of the narration and video. And then I'm going to open up my Files tab again, and then let's close this. I don't want to transcribe a music file. And here is the music file that we have added. As you can see here, it says that insert to script. Insert into script will insert the music in between talking, or in this case, since the playhead is at the beginning of our video, then it will add the music before we start talking. So let's demonstrate the problem here. We are going to go to our files. This is the music file, it is already selected. And we are going to just click insert into script. And as you can see, Descript has added the music file before the start of our video, but that is not what we want. I'm going to click Ctrl Z to undo these changes. Now I'm going to bring the cursor somewhere in the middle of our video. Let's say here, this is a scene. We don't always have to put the cursor at the beginning of the scene. You can put it anywhere. Let's put this here. Go to the music file again and insert into script. Here, the music has been added in between these two clips of our video. So here, we can see that there is video. Here, with our newly added audio file, there is no video. And here, there is again video. So there is a gap in our video. This is not what we want. So let's just hit Ctrl Z to undo this, and let's go back to the very beginning. We want this audio file to play in the background while we are narrating our video. For that, making sure that my playhead is at the beginning, I'm going to drop down, add new layer, and click add new layer. And as you can see, it has added the music file as a new layer inside our video. Now, if we pinch to zoom out, then we can see that this audio file, of course, lasts for only 33 seconds. Now, if we want to make this audio file last for the whole video, it is very easy. I'm going to click out of here just to demonstrate that right now this properties panel looks like this. There is the scene, duration, background effects. But if we click the audio file, then it becomes this. Here we get this duration option, and in this duration option, there is this once option. If we click this once option, we get this loop option. If we click this loop option, and here we go. It has looped the audio throughout our entire video. If we pinch on our trackpad, we can see that the music file has extended to the end of our video. Now I'm going to bring the cursor to the end and zoom in. There is something I want to show here. Let's see how this music ends. As you can see, it ends quite abruptly. So how do we make this slowly fade out so it sounds better to the ear? For this, we are just going to go back to the front of our video, which is the start of our audio file. Zoom in a little bit. And here at the beginning, we'll see this dot. Let's extend this a little bit so it is more visible. Here is this white dot. If we click it and drag it to increase the fade in, but there is a quicker way of doing this. We can just click it and this option comes up and we can decide the fade in duration. I'm just going to keep it at 1 second. Now the question becomes, this is the fade in duration. How do we decide the fade out duration? If we go back to the very end of our video, we'll see that here there are no white dots. How do we make the audio fade out? Well, this is actually very easy. We're going to go back to the start of our audio clip and find the end of the original clip. That means that 33-second mark. And we can easily recognize this by this symbol here. This symbol means that from here, the looping has started. Here is the end of the clip, and as we can see, there is a white dot here. If you click this white dot and make this point a fade out point, then it is not going to fade out this part of the audio. It is going to fade out the audio at the end. So to confirm this, if we go to the end now, here if we play this, let's see if it still ends abruptly. So it is now gracefully fading out. Now the thing I want to show is how to add a sound effect to just a particular part of our video. So this is a video. Let's say we want to add a sound effect to this small part here, which is just slightly above 2 seconds. And let's say we want to add this audio file here. If we click it, we can see that this audio file is about a little over 1 minute. So to add this audio file to this scene here, what we're going to do is make sure that in our transcript, our cursor is at the start of that scene as well. There we go. This blue cursor is now at the start of the scene. I have brought it here by clicking here twice, and this is our scene number 5. Now what we're going to do is just grab the music file and bring it to this scene and just let go. And as you can see, this layer is the new music layer and it has been added to just this scene number 5. And just to recap, we have created this scene by adding these forward slashes to the front and end of part where we want the scene to be, just like a bracket. And we can also notice that the 1 minute clip has automatically been fitted to the 2 to 3 seconds of this scene number 5. Now we can add a music to a particular area of our video from the timeline as well. To demonstrate this, let's scroll to empty scene. Okay, this 9 number scene is empty. And let's say we want to add the same music to this scene. So what we're going to do is, like before, grab the music. This time, instead of going to the transcript, we're going to hover the music on top of the screen in the timeline. And then, while the music is on top of the scene in the timeline, we're going to hold Shift. And as you can see, there is a red line that appeared at the beginning of this scene that we're hovering the audio file on, and then we're going to let go. As you can see, this audio file has been added to this scene number 9. Let's do this again and find another scene. This scene is pretty small. Let's do it here. Let's bring the playhead here. Go and grab our music file. Bring it and hover on top of this scene. Then click Shift, and there is the red dotted line, and we're going to let go. And the music file has been added to this scene number 19.
Descript calls this attaching a media to a scene because this process makes sure that the audio or any kind of media file plays only for the duration of the scene that it is a part of. Now we can add a media file such as an audio file to a scene without holding down the shift button. For this, we're just going to grab the audio file. I'm at the scene number 24 right now. And then we're going to hover and move across the scene with the audio file until we get our red line. Here we go. When we hover just over the start of our scene, we get this red line. And if we let go now, and here it has added this 1 minute long audio file to this about 3 second long scene number 24. Now, if we try to add a media file as a B-roll to our scene without holding the shift key and without finding the red line, then the clip will just play for the entire duration of the clip instead of the duration of the scene. So I mean that my 1 minute long clip will just play for 1 whole minute instead of just playing for the duration of the scene. So let's see how that happens. I'm just going to grab my audio file, hover on top of this scene number 24. And here is the red line. I'm not going to let go right now. I'm just going to hover the audio file on top of the scene. No red lines anywhere. And then let go. And here is the audio file. We can see it has started from the point where we were hovering the audio file on instead of from the start of the scene. And we can see by comparison that I'm pinching to zoom. Here in scene number 24, here is the music file playing for only the duration of the scene number 24, which is 3 seconds. And right below it is the same audio file playing for its entire duration, which is 1 minute. All because in the first case, we had either held down the shift key and found the red line to attach the audio clip to the scene, or had found the red line by hovering over the scene and thus attaching the audio file to the scene. But here, we intentionally made sure that the red dotted line did not appear, which resulted in the audio file playing for its entire duration, which is 1 minute, instead of just playing for the duration of this scene. Another thing about the red dotted line is that how it interacts with media files that are already present as a new layer inside our Descript timeline. I have already said that if we grab a new file and bring it on top of a scene until we find the red line and then let go, it will attach the file to the scene, making the media file play only for the duration of the scene. But if we click and hold a media file that is already present as a secondary layer or a new layer inside our Descript, then drag it and find that red line, then it will not attach the file to the scene, but just make sure that the media file starts at the beginning of the scene. So let's let go and see. And as we can see, this file is still playing for the 1 whole minute, but now it has started at the beginning of scene number 24, whereas before it has started a little later from the beginning of the scene number 24. And similarly, we can just grab it and move it to make a start from anywhere within this scene. We can also grab it and move it to make a start from another scene altogether. All right, I'm just going to undo this and move on to the next one.
Now, we can use the looping function to fill a long scene with a short music clip, which is in contrast to the previous time where we had looped a music track to fill the entire video. So right now I am in scene number 50. It is almost 60 seconds long, and here we have a music file that is 33 seconds long. Let's say I want this 33-second long music file to play for the entire 60 seconds of this scene. So to do this, first I'm going to attach the music clip to the scene and then loop it. So I'm going to grab the music file, bring it on top of the scene, click and hold shift in the keyboard, and here is the red line, and I'm going to let go of the music file while I am holding the shift button. As you can see, the music file has been added, but since the entire length of the music file is just 33 seconds, it just extends up to here and rest of the scene is empty. Now to fill this entire scene with this music clip, we're going to make sure that this music file is selected, and then we get this properties panel, and here in the duration panel there is again the once option. If we click the once option, we get another loop option, and if we click the loop option, this time it is going to loop the music file, but only until the end of the scene. So the key here is whether a music file is attached to a scene or not. In the beginning, when we had looped our background music throughout the entire video, we had just added the music file from the files menu here into the script as a new layer. But here, we grabbed our music file and attached it to a scene first and then looped it. And since the music file was attached to the scene, the looping only extended to the end of the scene instead of the entire video. Now, we have added our beautiful background music, but we don't want our background music to be louder than our narration. And also, we want the background music to be a little louder in the places where there are no narration, as in we are not talking. The beauty of the Descript app and its AI is that both of these things, as in lowering the sound of the background music while we are talking and increasing the sound of the background music while we are quiet, can be done with literally just the click of a button. For that, we are going to use an action in Descript called ducking. What we're first going to do is select the script. For this, we can just click anywhere in the timeline in the script. This is our main track, the track that is connected to our video, and we're going to click it. This is the script track. When we click it, we get this properties panel, and we can see that in the properties panel, right up here in the audio effects, there is this action called ducking. We're just going to turn it on, and this will automatically lower the sounds of all other tracks that are not our script. So in Descript, the ducking effects works a bit differently than other video editing softwares. Here, if we choose a layer and apply ducking to it, then Descript reduces the sound of all the other tracks and keeps the volume of the ducked track at normal. Also, ducking is always applied to the entire layer. Though we are selecting a part of a scene to apply our ducking, but still the ducking will be applied to the entire layer. If it is the script layer, then ducking will be applied to the entire script layer. If it is a new layer or a B-roll, then ducking will be applied to the entirety of the B-roll. Currently, ducking cannot be applied to just one part of the video, which actually until now it has been a great help with saving time. So now our background music will not overpower our narration. Now let's see if the background music automatically becomes clearer when there is no narration in the video. I know that there are some quiet places just near the end of my video. So I'm going to go near the very end of my video. Just going to find the quiet places, and here it is. Let's start playing from here and see if the music in this part and the music at the end here is a little louder than the parts where I am speaking.
I'm going to just go back to my channel by clicking this channel icon here. And here we go. Of this video.
So as you can see, whenever there is a human voice speaking, it becomes clearer. And whenever there are no voice speaking, then the background music becomes not louder, but clearer. Let's see what happens at this part.
Have a good day. See you soon.
Here the gap clip at the end, the background music becomes much louder, and as we have already applied our fade out, it will slowly fade out in a very pleasant manner. And there we go. Now the next thing is that though we want our background music to be quieter than our narration, but we want our sound effects to appear with a bright pop on top of our voice. This is actually also easy. For that, we're just going to select the effect and apply ducking to the sound effect. Here we go. So we can apply ducking to multiple layers. Now what Descript is going to do is it is going to keep the volume of our script track to normal, and it is also going to keep the volume of our sound effects track to normal, but it is going to decrease the volume of our background track. Let's go and see. Our thumbnail. I actually don't keep the thumbnail here. I have a folder where I keep all the images. The background track is playing very subtly in the background. In each case, you can hear our voice, and in the middle, the chime of the bells can be heard at this scene number 19, where we have added this small sound effect too. Let's make this a little bigger so it is more easily visible. We can hover over here and add a fade in and fade out to make it sound more pleasant to the ear. Now this ducking effect is not fixed. If we select the script here and go to this properties panel, then go to the settings button near the ducking option, and here we get this amount option. From here we can determine the amount of ducking. Now currently by default in Descript app, the amount of ducking is 10%. That means that the volume of our background music will be 10% of our script track. Now here the music file is selected, and if we go to this properties panel and click the settings button beside the ducking option, click this and make the ducking 20%. Now the ducking in the script layer is 10%. That means the volume of the background music is 10% of the script layer. And ducking in the music layer is 20%. That means that the volume of the background music will be 20% of the music layer. But both of these things cannot be true at the same time. So how does Descript solve this? Well, Descript in these cases follows the lowest denominator. So 20% of the tract is louder than 10% of the tract. 10% of the tract is quieter. So in this case, Descript will make sure to apply 10% ducking to the entire project. In this way, if there were more music tracks or audio tracks in this layer, then Descript will make sure that the lowest amount of ducking is applied to the project.
We're going to click out of here. We don't have to always start the sound effect or music at the beginning. If we click the sound effect, we of course get this properties panel. And here we get an option called Start At. So let's say we have a song and we only want a particular part of the lyrics to play. Or maybe we want a particular part of the music to play. instead of the lyrics. In that case, we can just see at what time our desired part is playing. I'm going to right click on this sound effect and click this view media file, which will open up the media file that we have imported here. And here we can just play the file to see at what point we are getting our desired part. So it is at 38 seconds. So I'm going to close this by clicking this file option and click here to select it and click 0.38 to start the sound effect file at 0.38 seconds. So have started the sound effect at a point that we want it to by choosing a starting point. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is this. Let's select the script, bring up this panel and find this studio sound. As you can see, it is already turned on. What this does is it can remove any unwanted background noises like a dog barking, AC sound, or lawnmower sounds or car sound from our audio. It is truly amazing how well studio sound works. There are no such annoying background noises in this video. If I come across such a situation, I'll be sure to record it and then share it. So you can click this menu and choose the intensity of the studio sound effect. But I would like to just keep it as it is. It does a good enough job in my opinion. Let's click out of here. Along with studio sound, I wanted to mention that Descript has the options to help us modify our audio in any way we want. Studio sound and ducking are not the only two audio effects inside Descript. To access the other audio effects, I'm going to, of course, first select a portion of the track or a portion of the music file or sound effect. Here, I'm just going to select a part of our script track, and then this panel shows up. And here I'm going to navigate to audio effects and then click the plus button next to the audio effects option. Here we get a lot of options: this dynamics, EQ, creative, and reverb. Each of these options contain options. And again, these options, if you go to the setting buttons beside them, have many other options embedded in them. Using these, we can manipulate our audio in any way we can think of. And to remove the effect, we can of course click this settings button beside the effects and then navigate to the last option, which is the remove effect option. We're going to click this minus button and it has been removed. And of course, these toggles turn on or turn off our audio effects. Now, the order in which the audio effects are placed in this panel is very important in Descript, because Descript will apply the first effect first, and then on that modified audio layer, it will apply the second effect. And it is always recommended that we first apply studio sound before adding any other effects and then ducking. And that's why we cannot click and drag these layers on top of one another. The studio sound will always be at the beginning of the audio effects, and the second effect will be ducking. To demonstrate this, let's add some other audio effects. Let's go to this plus button. Here, let's add compressor and then add another one. Let's go to EQ and add this. Now, if we click and drag the compressor effect, we can see that we can go down, but we cannot go above ducking or studio sound. Same with the EQ effect. If we click and drag it, we can go below, but we cannot go above ducking or studio sound. Let's delete these. All right. I'm going to be using all these methods in this video that I'm making in the hopes that it sounds a little better than my previous videos. I hope this has been helpful to you in some way as well. Have a good day. See you soon.